So I tried a bunch of diets and weight loss programs, and I go up and I go down, and nothing ever seemed to work. And I kind of gave up. But my husband and I both had diabetes, and we were both taking multiple medications. And he says, honey, we got to do something. And my cousin Kim was a coach, and I had just been putting off, but I decided, okay, we're going to just call her and we're going to try this program. And you know what? We both loved it. I lost 30 pounds. I got off of X number of medications, and now I can, what can you do now?
What can I do now? Chase a 2-year-old all day long.
There you go. Now I can chase a 2-year-old all day long, which is the pride of my life, you know, which is something that's important to me. And my husband, he got off of whatever, and he lost 33 pounds, right? And
he
now,
can tie his shoes.
What'd you say?
He could tie his shoes.
And now he can tie his shoes. And I was so excited and so impressed with the results that we were getting. And I knew there was other people that were struggling. And I decided to become a coach and pay it forward, because I know there's a lot of people out there with diabetes, heart conditions, other things that they can that I'm going to be able to help them with.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. So that's basically your story. And that's, you know, about a minute or so. And that kind of tells people why you became a coach, was to pay it forward. And then you can either you'll notice by their response, do they ask questions? Wow, that's amazing. How did it work? You know, so in the context of your list, the people who have like on your top 10 list, these people you've probably been talking to over the last couple months. So your approach could be even shorter. So let's say that you were going to reach out to Stephanie. Something approach like this would be very simple. Hey, Stephanie, remember the other day we were talking about this program and how I've improved my health? I am so excited that I lost the pounds, but I'm even more excited that I got off these medications, and now I can chase my little 2-year-old grandbaby around. And I know you asked me about these questions, and I don't know if you're a good fit for this, but I think you might be. Would you be interested in exploring if Optavia could help you with your health? And if she seems receptive, then say, great, let's schedule a call with my coach. I'm brand new as a coach, and I want to make sure you get all your answers to any questions you have. How about we schedule a phone call or a Zoom video conference with my coach? What are 2 times that are good for you? And I'll try to get her to meet one of your times. And then just get a couple of time slots from Stephanie or whoever it is. And then you throw it in that text thread to Susan, and I want to get in a thread too.
Okay.
In case you ever need me. But you basically say, hey guys, I got somebody who wants to do a health assessment. Who's available at this time? And then between me, Susan, and Kim, one of us will jump on and help you do the health assessment.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of the apprentice program. And then once we get some clients started, then we help you get them into fat burn. And we help you coach them for the first couple clients. And then we'll do a celebration call when they're on week 1 or 2 and kind of check in with you and make sure that you're helping them get integrated as a client. And that's what's going to really help them keep the weight off if they really embrace all 4 components of the program: the coach, the habits of health, the community, and the fuelings. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, one last question for you. Then I want to hear from Ryan a little bit. So Ryan, we're going to come to you in just a minute.
No problem.
What would you like to get from Optavia as a hardworking coach? Because you know what, it is work to go out there and love on people and reach out and overcome your fears and talk to people and follow up. You know, this is a profession, but you can actually help a lot of people and make some good money at the same time. What motivates you about being a health coach? What are you excited about?
I'm excited about just the whole diabetic aspect of it and just the healthy part of it. Not even so much the money or just people that need something. Just the diabetic side, since it's been so successful in our family. For the people that have done it so far have been, my sister's doing amazing. She goes to the doctors tomorrow, hopefully with more good news. And
awesome. So, well, let me give you one little tip then, because one little thing is when you have a big heart like you do, and I know Kim has this same heart and I do too, and I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan does, because he's brought up by a wonderful person with a big heart. When you have a big heart, you really want to go out of your way to help people. And sometimes what we do, we don't realize it, especially at the beginning, is that we answer all their questions. And at this stage of the game, because you're so new, my recommendation is after you've told them a little bit about them to get them interested and curious, if they ask, how does it work? Or how much is it? Or what's in it? Or any kind of like details about the program, your best answer at this stage, you ready for this?
Okay.
This is a good one. Remember it. This could help you help a lot of people. That depends on your goals. So they ask, how much is it? You know what? That depends on your goals. If they ask, how does it work? That depends on your goals. How long will I be on the program? How does, what kind of exercise or whatever, what kind of feed can I have? That depends on any kind of what or how question that depends on your goals. I tell you what, I'm so new and there's different plans for different people. Could we jump on a call with my health coach and she can find out about your goals and then recommend the best program for you?
Okay.
And if you take that approach that way, because if they start asking questions, you keep answering, next thing you know, you've done the presentation and you don't even need to do a health assessment.
Okay.
And that tends to work not as well. What works really well is when we do the health assessment, we find their why, and then getting them started is usually much easier.
Okay.
Was that helpful, Barb?
It was. And another question I have, my sister was telling her, I was hoping to get clients from my sister's weight loss group. Well, once she told them bread was out, she lost them. They were like, no bread or fruit, while they remained trying to go to their goal. And they were just like so freaked out about it. It's like.
That's a great example of somebody making a decision based on 1/100th of the information. Because in reality, we have chocolate chip cookies, we have buttermilk biscuits, we have, we do have bread and different fruits. We have cinnamon rolls. We have different kinds of breads. They don't really know about the whole context. So that's okay. But that's why the personal relationship is so important, is you connecting with them on a human level, on a personal level, and letting them hear your story and letting them hear your passion. Then you might be able to get beyond some of those concepts. We call those concepts, right?
Okay.
But
I almost take my bars and go cut them up and say, here, taste all this stuff. Especially with my boss. She's such a picky eater. She's terrible. So.
Do that after you've done the health assessment.
Okay.
Because the health assessment will find their why. And if you don't have their why, then oftentimes they'll look for reasons why not.
Okay.
And they'll look for, oh, it's too expensive. Oh, I can't have this. Oh, I could never give up that. Or oh, I can't give up pizza. Okay, well, what if we could help you have some cauliflower crust pizza and they're just as good, but it was healthy and kept you in fat burn and you could get to your goal weight and still have pizza. So we have some ways that we can overcome. So part of this is your training is while you get us on the phone, we're going to be training you on how to answer these questions.
Okay.
Cool. All right, Ryan, your turn. You ready, bro?
Yeah, I am ready. Sorry, I've been kind of off and on. I'm juggling here.
I hear it. I'm proud of you. So
thank you.
Is this your first baby?
This is my first, yes.
Wow. And
it's great.
Tell me about your new job real quick.
So I'm a trained chef. And so a few years ago now, coming up on almost 4 years, my wife's a pastry chef. We decided we needed to get out of the kitchen to have kind of a more or less normal schedule to be able to eventually start a family. So we got in kind of the corporate realm, and I got into food sales, and that's what I'm actually going to be doing when I move to Arizona. So I'll be doing food distribution. So it'll be it's kind of what I've been doing for the last 3 years, but it'll be a little bit more.
A little better of a lifestyle for you as a family man now, with better hours than running a restaurant?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, restaurant work was, could be 6 to 7, even 7 days a week, and you're working 12 to 14-hour days.
Brutal.
So it just got to the point where we're like, okay, well, we need some kind of a life together. And she got into corporate cake decorating classes and teaching people who work at Safeways and Albertsons, and she goes around training them how to do cake decorating. And
so is that little her own business, or is it working for a company that she's an employee?
It's working for a company, but she's actually going to be taking her skills. And the reason we're moving is I'm now able to make her a stay-at-home mom. She wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I got a job to where I'll be making a little bit more money and to be a little more comfortable to be a stay-at-home mom. So she's going to do her own business eventually out of our house with some cakes and cookies and cupcakes and such.
Awesome. My mom's a cake decorating expert. She did it for Michael's.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Years. Very cool. Okay, so now that you are in more of a corporate environment, what are your hours going to be, like 9 to 5, 5 days a week kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, on weekends too. I mean, I'll still be working probably on Sundays. You know, I deal with restaurants, hotels, and hospitals and things, and people order on Thursdays for the weekend and then Sundays for the week. So I work a little on the weekends too, but basically Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Cool. And tell me a little bit about your journey with Optavia and
oh yeah, very good one. So mine was kind of similar with Barb's. I actually I tried a couple programs in the past and fell off of it. I just wasn't properly motivated, just knowing myself. I didn't have that motivation. And I got to the point where I actually got my blood work back from a test that I got done a couple months ago. Hey, it's okay. And excuse me, sorry, got to do the dad thing real quick. It's okay, buddy. I know I got my wife working downstairs and me upstairs. Okay, so anyway, I got
your blood work.
Yeah, I got my blood work done, and it was not great. And to the point to where my doctor actually had a pretty serious sit down with me, going over that I was pre-diabetic, pre-heart disease, fatty liver enzymes. I'm 30 years old, and he's having this conversation with me saying, you need to do something. And I told him, I said, okay, well, I'm going to do something, you know, and this is before my son was born, and it scared me enough to where I got a hold of my mom. I knew what she's been doing for the last 7 years. I've seen success stories. I've seen a lot of stuff over the last few years of people she's helped out. And I finally asked her for her help. And I said, can you please help me? I need a whole life transformation, you know, and that's really what it's been. It's before it was always temporary. It was, I lost 20 pounds. And then all of a sudden, you know, a few months later, I gained it back.
Yep.
And I needed to a new baby in my life and a wife that I'm crazy about was the best motivation that I could possibly imagine. Because ever since he was born, I have just been on it. I am down 44 pounds in less than 3 months. I've been very strict, but I've been having a ton of fun. Being a chef is kind of beneficial within this program. I've been having a ton of fun just kind of creating recipes. Speaking of pizza crust, we've made cauliflower, we've made broccoli, we've done cauliflower gnocchi. I mean, we've kind of just experimented and failed a couple times, and then
you and your wife at home?
Oh yeah, we've been having a blast. Every night we've been cooking something different. Last night we did zucchini boat tuna melts. I mean, we've just been having a lot of fun. So it's kind of been not only good for our health, but also just within our culinary realm, it's kind of forced us to get creative and things we've never had to do before.
Awesome.
Which is beneficial within our job. And also when now I'm being asked about the program, I've gotten to the point now where I go into work and just around from people who know me, and it's a noticeable difference.
44 pounds, heck yeah.
Oh yeah.
What do you notice the most? What do you notice the most?
Energy. Energy was my biggest thing. I, for the longest time, didn't see the transformation visually. I think I just, I look at myself every day and I just kind of didn't see it. I definitely had those really small victories that were just awesome. Like my wedding ring fit a little better And, you know, I flew on a plane and the tray in front of me wasn't right at my gut. You know what I mean? Like, this like little cool victories that I noticed that kind of bugged me before that all of a sudden now doesn't. But the main thing for me was energy. I can't imagine doing what I'm doing now if I wasn't on this program, because I'd be very sluggish. I was just didn't have the motivation just to kind of get going and do everything I needed to do. And now I just have all this natural energy, feel terrific. My joints feel a lot better. My knees feel better. I've been going on walks every day. I take my dogs out. I take my son out in the stroller. My wife comes with me. She's lost a ton of weight. She's been kind of doing it on the side little by little, but not full-time like me. But she's lost all of her pregnancy weight and 8 pounds down from her pre-pregnancy weight. It's just been so awesome and so beneficial.
Yeah. And it's great that you were able to, just like Barbara's do it with her husband, you were able to do it with your wife. And even just, she's not 100% on the program. She's practicing these healthy habits with you. And do you feel like you've got an ability to kind of a new plan that can work to keep the weight off?
Yeah. I mean, again, for us, it's just fun at this point. You know, we've gotten to the point where it's not a chore. It's just a kind of it's now the norm, right? So, you know, every day we talk and go, what are we having tomorrow for lunch? What are we having for tomorrow dinner? Let's do our menu planning. And we get to go to the store and we get to go pick out recipes. We go on Pinterest, we go online, we find different things that we want to get creative with, and it's just become just a regular habit. And that took a while to get to that point. But now we're finally there to where it's just kind of normal.
Yeah. And probably the habit of eating, you know, every 3 hours has become normal, and watching your labels, all that stuff is just now just part of your routine right after a couple months.
It really is. And, you know, I put it on my cell phone at first, you know, every 2 to 3 hours, depending on where I wanted my meals to lie in the day. And I had alarms go off every day. And now it's kind of almost like my body has its own internal clock. It's like, oh, you know what? I think it's time to eat. And I look, and sure enough, it's, you know, 2.5, 3 hours. And I got my bars, and, you know, I pack them before I leave for work in my little cooler in the morning. And then it's just really just easy. I drive a lot for work. So having the convenience part of the food as well has been huge for me, whether it's the bars or even just preheating any of the blueberry muffins or the cinnamon swirl. I mean, any of that stuff that you can pre-cook ahead of time and package has been awesome.
Yeah, that's a big factor. So, gosh, there's a lot of things. It sounds like you're really loving it.
Love it.
Yes. Both. You've really integrated the habits of health. You're really working with your coach. You said, hey, I need help. I'm coachable. And you've been staying connected with and asking questions along the way with your mom, and anything you need, she's probably there for you, I'm sure.
Yes, very much so.
That's a big part of it. Have you started reading The Habits of Health at all, the book?
You know what? I browsed a little bit through it, but I gotta be honest with you, as of late, with the move and with the baby and everything, it's just been a lot going on, where I've been just prioritizing my health for sure, but just haven't gotten to the next step quite yet, as much as I would like to. But I definitely have. I've read a lot of the program through the book that I got in the very, very beginning, and also the coaching kit that I got as well, which was kind of brushing up on that same stuff. But definitely more to learn. Definitely more to learn.
Absolutely. And there's no rush. You know, we can learn at your pace. And that's what's great about this business. You're the CEO. So, Ryan, if you want to work 5 minutes a day, you can. If you want to work, 30 minutes, it's up to you. You could set your own schedule. So we'll work with you on a pace that works with what's going on with your life right now. One question I've got, Mike, how close to your goal are you?
So I am about 10 pounds away from my goal. Would have put me around 55 pounds. And we'll see, that was my goal. That doesn't mean I can't exceed it if need be, I just got blood work back again, my second round of blood work, and, it was much better than the first one, but there was still room for improvement to where my body definitely still needs a little work. And maybe that's introducing more exercise to a program that I'm already very strict on, or just kind of, maybe being a little more disciplined and trying, other things, more like a 5-to-1 instead of a 4-to-2. I don't know yet, but we'll see.
Well, I don't know if we want to take time on this call to go over that, but do you want to take a little time to kind of detour and talk about that, or you want to just keep going and lose your last 10 pounds and then we'll talk about other strategies later?
Yeah, I think I'll focus on the next 10, and then I plan on getting my blood work back again to see if the levels are even better than they are, to get back in kind of its normal average range. But I have higher cholesterol. My pre-diabetic numbers are down, but not completely out of the way.
Yeah.
My pre-heart disease is down, but not completely out of the way. But happy to report that something that I've had a lot of issues with, which was my fatty liver enzymes, are completely normal. And that's been a big one for me for years.
Really?
Yes. And unfortunately, my father has the same thing. It's genetic, to where we both have very similar builds. And that's kind of been an issue for both of us. And I know he's doing really, really well as well. And those levels are finally normal, which makes me so happy. And that just motivates you to keep going.
Excellent. Well, speaking of motivation, what got you excited about wanting to become a coach and pay it forward?
Did we freeze? There we go.
Did you hear what I said?
I think it froze.
I said, speaking of motivation, what was your motivation for becoming a coach? What made you decide to pay it forward?
It was really kind of, I wouldn't say selfish, but it was really just kind of wanting to share the feeling that I had, because my feeling of it wasn't just physical, right? I mean, once your physical body feels better, mentally, it's even higher. I mean, the energy, the mood, your outlook on life, everything's still a little brighter, a little happier. You just feel better. And once you do that, it's contagious. And you really kind of want to, like you said, you want to pay that forward. And there's a lot of people that I love and care about that I know aren't thinking and feeling the way I do. And to kind of want to spread that selfishly to those people is kind of the reason why I wanted to be a coach. I know I'm very much happy my brother's starting the program. My sister's hopefully starting pretty soon. I have a couple of friends that were on my list that have always had problems with their weight and their health, and just kind of, not really taking care of their bodies. And once you get to that point yourself, like I said, you just want to share it. And that's kind of why I wanted to start.
Awesome. Well, first, let's talk about did you have over 5 or 10 people that you've already thought about that you want to share this with?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually wrote a list down to 20, narrowed it down to 5 that I would consider the red apples.
Okay, good.
But definitely have right now, I have 2 that I've spoken to already briefly. Lucky for me, they actually kind of asked me about it just from seeing a picture that I posted on social media, and it was my before and after picture. And they were blown away with it. And I said, I made a life change, and I can love to go over that with you if you ever had some time. And they're all positive people. They've been my friends since middle school, and they were very much open to having a conversation. So that's something that, again, when we get a little further and not as hectic here, then I've already talked to my mom that we would like to do a 3-way call and talk to them about the program.
Perfect. Yeah. So that's the perfect approach. You connect with somebody, you maybe have a conversation. If they ask you questions, you give them a little bit about your story and say, well, maybe we could explore this for you, and do the 3-way call with your mom, and do a Zoom call. Especially if you can do the Zoom, it's more intimate. You feel more connected because you get that visual aspect of it.
Sure.
And health assessments can be done in like 15 to 20 minutes if we kind of move through it pretty quickly. So it doesn't really require a lot of time. And that is the best way for you to learn about how to get somebody started and answer their questions. And that's really your next step for both of you guys, is one thing you might want to do is, have you rehearsed your telling your story in like about a minute or so, kind of compacting it?
I personally haven't rehearsed it, but I can definitely compact my story within a minute and a half.
That's what you want to do, is kind of learn how to tell it in like about, even for the people that have asked you, like when you get to the point where you can reach out to those ones who've asked you, it's even very straightforward. It's like, hey, Bob, remember the other day we were talking about that program I'm on? I'm so blown away with it. I decided to become a coach. And I don't know if you should, but if you would like to check it out, why don't we jump on a call and I can explain how it works with my mom, who's my coach. She's kind of teaching me and training me on how to explain the program. Would you want to jump on? You know, so it's really straightforward. If they've asked you, that means they're kind of interested.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It doesn't take a lot of enrolling, so to speak. It's just an invitation, and then it's just setting it up and making it easy for them to invite. Do you have any certain times that you block out where they can kind of say, "Oh, Kim's available on this day at this time," or anything? Or
Mondays and Fridays are the best days for me to do those calls. Anytime on Mondays and Fridays.
And with you, Ryan, when are you thinking about, are you right in the thick of moving right now?
Yeah. I mean, we have the moving truck coming this next Monday, and then we're out on Wednesday. So. Okay.
So if you can squeeze any calls in, there is something called the cab bonus. When did you enroll as a coach?
So now I think it was almost a month ago, maybe 3 weeks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, about a month.
So there's this thing called the cab bonus. If you do within the first 30 days of when you enroll, if you help 5 people get started, they give you an extra $100 bonus. It's a nice little perk. Not the end of the world. Miss it. Under the circumstances, I quite understand.
I know. I saw that on my online when I registered and everything, and I saw that actually when I was going through my online dashboard. But yeah, I know. It's just right now. It's been crazy.
Right now, you have 2 clients.
So right now it's my brother, and then my sister is hopefully starting the beginning of August.
So they haven't yet started yet?
My brother has. My sister has not.
Okay. Are you co-coaching with this brother? Okay, cool. Awesome. How's your brother doing?
He's, from what I know and from when I talk to him, he's doing well. You know, it's same with me. It's very, for both of us, it was difficult in the beginning, timing wise with